Welcome back to War Thunder and welcome to the Dub Talks number 25 with the title Prediction of Warfare. And yeah, you might think that I will talk a lot about the T-34, but in fact I will not talk too much about this tank for a very simple fact. I cannot tell you anything about this tank. Now the first time you will probably see footage about this anticipated tank, or let's say tank that raises a few opinions in the very different parts of the community. The first time you will see footage is probably when I make a dev server tank preview, but then everything is subject to change. Or I get my hands on this tank rather soon on the live server once it goes live, but then still I have to grind it, which might take some time. And then I still have to play it out how it actually changes the meta at tier 4, and even then might it get changed a few days after. So yeah, this is a very big topic. It really will not be such a big game changer as the T29. However, one game changer, or one changer of rarity so to speak, will be the introduction of the A26B, another American plane with huge ground strike capabilities. And I'm a little bit annoyed about this plane getting introduced, but this is my personal opinion and I have to stress it out. In pure fact wise, I do not mind this plane, but as a person that has played for a very long time and I got my hands on the A26C, I think it loses a little bit of its value. Now I'm talking here about the A26C, which is the reward version, and in particular I'm talking about the A26C45 frontline bomber invader with a battle rating of 6.0, which is in the premium tech tree version, but when you got it, it was stock and it has no talisman, so it's not really a premium. And it's a rather rare sight in the skies if you exclude the PC premium version. And I played a lot to get this plane and I wanted it for such a long time. And now another version, probably even better performing, is getting introduced for the tech tree version. Yeah, this is the downside of being a collector. You respect everything as being rare, being so much more of value for your personal kind of I don't know how to explain it. I want to stay it rare, right? And the plane itself stays rare, but nobody actually gives a damn if now they face a C or a B variant. But we will have to see how it actually works out. Then that actually brings me to another point of discussion, and that is, if now we see a different version of this plane, might we see the possibility of like the E100 getting introduced in the game for the regular player with a different turret and a different gun and a different battle rating? Because Germany desperately needs a bit more mobile heavy tank than the Maus, and many players still don't understand how to play the Maus, or just say, yeah, it's completely inferior to ATGM, which is a valid point. But if you're top tier, you just can't wreck the entire enemy team if you know how to play and you have support by some other tanks, which is a rather rare thing these days. Which brings me to the next thing, and that is the RU251. Now again, I have no idea how this tank will change the meta and how it will perform, which stats it will have, same rules as for the T-34, but there is one thing that I can actually say for how the German tech tree works at tier 4 and tier 5 at the moment. And when you cut out all the decoration tanks, so to speak, you are left at tier 4 with the King Tigers, and at tier 5 the Leopards. That's what you have. Those are your workhorses. And as strong as the King Tiger is from the front, it is as vulnerable as from the side. But you have no medium tank support effectively, or mobile armor, like for example the Russians do have at this battle rating. to kind of secure your flank. So you not just have to worry about the stuff that's in front of you, but also on your side. And it just takes one super Hellcat to wreck an entire German team, and then people say, oh my, German teams are so bad, despite, them fighting against the odds. Same goes for tier 4. The Leopard has no heavy tank support. The 10.5 centimeter Tiger 2 just doesn't cut it. The Yak Tiger and the Mars are both too slow. But still, you have to go for the objective and have to deal with ATGMs, T10Ms, T54s, T62s, and so on. And there is not much that you have in terms of really reliable armor. So in this respect, the RE251 might be the spark of a stress relief for the King Tiger at tier 4 in this respect. It might be, and I hope so that it does. But then we still need to get something in terms of really big, reliable armor at tier 5 for the Germans. That's at least my opinion. If you think differently or you share this thought, let me know in the comment section. I'm really interested in your thoughts. Then let's talk about the community in general. First of all, who is part of the community? Well, basically everybody that shares his thoughts in the comment section of various different YouTube videos and actually plays actively War Thunder. And I have to say I'm very thankful for my civilized community in my comment section, and there is just one incident that I want to point out that actually makes me pretty confident. First of all, I was contacted by somebody from Bavaria, the northern part of Bavaria, which is older than me, which doesn't tell you that much. But I think this person, if watching and listening to this episode of the Duck Talks, will know who I mean. I'm not telling you his name because I think he wants to stay anonymous. And he says, can you tell me a little bit more about the cruise? I came from another game and I have not really a very good idea of what to do and how to do it, and this is my problem, and can you help me out? Now, I actually wrote him back, helped him out. He was thankful, but then there was a other part that made me think. He wrote me this message because he did not want to struggle with all the trolls in the comment section, but there are not too many trolls in my comment section. However, he was kind of he had bad experiences, it seems like, on other or in other comment sections. So again, I hope that my community, or the part of the War Thunder community that knows about me and actively acts in my comment section, still continues the good faith and still stays helpful in this respect and doesn't, dip into the insulting and useful, or does not dip into the insulting part and uselessness of other YouTubers' comment sections. I hope that this will continue for a very long time. Yeah, then another part about the community. I actually reached 2,300 subscribers already, which is really nice. It might have to do with a certain E100 video, which surpassed 11,000 views. That's just amazing for me, and it's really unbelievable for me, especially under the aspect that this was just a simple game. And while I put effort into this game, I made dozens of videos previously to that where I put much more effort into it, especially the tank reviews. That doesn't get too much attention. So again, I have to think about how to actually grow reliably in this respect in terms of YouTube. And then a nice shout out to all of you new subscribers out there that joined the last few days. Welcome to my channel, and I hope you enjoy it. Then, especially about the difference between arcade and realistic in terms of recognition is that nobody in arcade, when I play arcade, recognizes me, which is just fine. And when I get recognized in realistic, it's always in a very nice way, and people just seem to like my content. and so I get a little bit of shout out by them shouting out me. Uh, and so I get a few new subscribers per match, which is nice. But I digress. Again, this is the nice part. Nobody hunted me down, nobody chased me down so far. Again, I kind of, by miracle, avoided the part of getting insulted and so on. And yeah, I might give you back something for that in the next few weeks. Again, there is some planning going on with another person that I trust on its opinion, and I can't tell you what it is, and I can't promise you anything, but maybe this time this will work out. I have faith in this person's reliability, so let's just look how it goes. And then there is another part that kind of annoys me in terms of gun performance changes. You might have noticed that recently those pesky AAA vehicles are able to be destroyed much faster. I mentioned this in numerous tank videos already with the armor brake or hull brake mechanic, as it is called. It's really fantastic stuff. I like the introduction, and yeah, furthermore, we saw a drastic reduction of sparks in terms of that the shells just spark but do absolutely no damage. And in particular, when I look at certain Japanese planes, where I just made two plane reviews a few days apart from each other, namely the Ki-87, where I liked the plane, but the guns did not really perform that well. And a few days later, I got a 75% discount on the J2 M5 Raiden, which has a completely, more specialized armament. And suddenly I got 3 kills with 1 loadout, I guess it was, and that was really amazing. But the performance of the 30mm guns changed within 3 days drastically. And this is why it is so hard to make a plane review in comparison to a tank review, because overall the tank shell's performance and the tank's armor, how it works, does not really change too much. Yes, there might be the introduction of a new tank that has different capabilities, but then you have to look at this specific tank again. And this is why I shy away a little bit from plane reviews, although I still can give you a good idea what the plane is like. But again, always take a plane review with a grain of salt, because the performance can change within days. And yes, I think that guns are a essential part of an overall Warbird's performance. And again, let me know in the comment section what you think about that. So, that's a lot of talking up until this point. And yeah, this is more or less just a quick update video. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay in the background. I hope you enjoyed my rambling. If so, please give it a like. Subscribe if you want to see more. And we'll see each other in the skies, on the seas, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.